Jai Hind everyone, my name is Milish Shrivastava and I'm from IT department, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today I'm going to discuss about round robin CPU scheduling algorithms. So, what is the basic concept of CPU scheduling and why it is needed? Basically, CPU scheduling is required for maximum CPU utilization. The main purpose of CPU scheduling algorithm is that we need to access CPU as much as possible. The ideal condition of any CPU is not promisable, so we try to utilize CPU maximum. Now, what are the some CPU scheduling criteria, basic concept, criteria, algorithms, multiprocessor scheduling, real time and algorithm evaluation. So maximum CPU utilization obtained with multi-programming. This is the main utilization, main purpose of CPU scheduling algorithms. Now, what kind of CPU scheduling algorithms? That is first come first serve, shortest job first, that is preemptive, non-preemptive, round robin, priority scheduling. All are specifically doing specific roles for each and every part of any scheduling algorithms. And specifically today I am going to discuss about round robin CPU scheduling algorithm, which is one of the most useful and important part of CPU scheduling algorithm. Now, there are some criteria of CPU scheduling algorithm. When I take example, I describe each and everything. Now, round robin CPU scheduling algorithm. In introduction part, each process gets a small unit of time CPU. Basically, there is some process and each process having some different arrival time and burst time. In the basis of burst time and arrival time, we develop our ready queue and running queue. And with the help of running queue, which is in main memory of CPU, we create a Gantt chart. It is with the help of Gantt chart, we consider or conclude turnaround time, average waiting time, each and everything that is utilized. Now, this is example of round robin and suppose there are some process having arrival time, burst time, so basically in concept of round robin algorithm, first of all we need to maintain a ready queue. Whenever any process in ready queue, that is still that process in secondary memory, and at that time that process is ready to swap in main memory. So first of all we need to maintain a ready queue. And second is running queue. Okay. Now, first of all, what we need to do at the time of 0, whenever its time is 0, arrival time is 0, what process has been considered? That is running time of process P1 is 0. So, there is one more thing, that is time quantum. Time quantum means what? There is a priority or primitive. That is why this algorithm is called as primitive algorithm, because of timestamp model. And what is the meaning of time quantum? Each and every process having some particular time quantum, and after that but particular time quantum, each process need to swap out in ready queue. So this is fixed and it is already, so that it is also known as primitive algorithms. What is the mode? If we are talking about what is the criteria of round robin, then criteria is time quantum, and the mode of this algorithm round robin is primitive. Now at zero time, arrival time 0, there is only one process, P1. Now we consider P1 in the ready queue. After that, when we talk about running queue, P1 runs, because of time quantum 2, P1 runs only 2 unit of time, and here remaining time, that is 3 unit of time remaining, because P1 already 2 unit of time chal chuka hai. Now second, in second step, what we need to do, first of all, we need to consider how many processes are arrived in at a time stamp of 2 unit of second. Make how much processes are arrived. So what processes? P1, P2 and P3 has also arrived at the time span of 2 milliseconds. So in the ready queue, we write here P2 and P3, and P2 also remaining, so it will swap out in the ready queue. So P1 also here and stay here and consider as a in ready queue. Now next is what process? P1 also goes, and next we take P2. Here is P1. Next we take P2. P2 also arrived what time? That is 2 unit of time. So yeah, there is 4 unit of time that has been dispatched. So there is when we consider P2 and remaining time is 2 millisecond. Now next is what we consider at the 4 unit of time, how many processes are proceed. So P4 also arrived at the 4 unit of time. So we also put here P4, and if P2 also remaining, then it's also swap out in the ready queue. Here P2 also waited for remaining part of has been arrived. Now next is we consider at P3. P3, that is P3 having burst time 2 unit of second. So here is 6 and this is 0. So P3 proceed all over. Now next process, next what we consider ki at time of 6, is there any process which need to arrived also? Then we have seen that there is no process, newly process arrived at the time of 6 milliseconds. So if P3 is remaining, then it's also wait in the ready queue, but P3 has been completed, so it's not goes on the ready queue. Now after P3, so there is no any new process included. Now P3, the next process is P1. P1 also runs 2 milliseconds, so that is 8. It gives 8 and its remaining part 1. So now next in other next step we consider in any new process has been arrived at 8 unit of time. No, there is no any process arrived, but P1 is still remaining. So P1 goes to the ready queue and wait for its turn. Now next process is P4. P4 comes ready queue to the running queue. Now P4 having only 1 unit of time, burst time. So here 8 plus 1 is equals to 9 and it is 0. Now this process is also completed. And what we seen here ki at the unit of 9 unit of time, is there any new process considered? No, there is no any process which is arrived in ready queue. So we need not to be put any new process. Now in case of P4 also completed, so we need not to put P4 into ready queue. Next is P2. How much time burst time remaining of P2, that is 2. So this is also completed and having 0 unit of time, and here 11 unit of time. Now next is P1. P1 only 1 unit of time, so also replace 0 and it is 12. So this is the ready queue and running queue chart of round robin algorithms. Now what are the completion time of this algorithm? And this is basically our Gantt chart, by which we can introduce completion time and turnaround time, waiting time, response time, so many things. So next is completion time. Completion time, turnaround time. Next is waiting time, and next is response time. So what is the completion time of P1? P1's completion time is 12. Now what is the completion time of P2? This is 11. What is the completion time of P3? 6. And what is the completion time of P4? That is 9. These are the completion time at what time any process which is completed in running queue. So P1 completed at the time of 12. So P1 12 is the completion time of P1. Now in case of P2 completely arrived in running queue, that is time period of 11 millisecond or whatever. So P2 having completion 11 is the completion time of P2. Next is P3. P3 have at the time of 6 unit second, P3 completed totally completed its process. So P3 completion time of P3 is 6 unit time of 6 unit time. Now next is P4. Likewise, 9 is the completion time of P4. So this is the completion time of P1, P2, P3 and P4. Now next is, what is the formula? Turnaround time. Turnaround time basically is equals to CT minus AT. And what is the waiting time? This is turnaround time. And what is waiting time? Waiting time is turnaround time minus BT. So with the help of these two formulas, we can find out turnaround time and waiting time. Here response time is different. Here response time when any process CPU got the CPU first time. When any process got the CPU at very first time minus AT, that is arrival time. This is the formula of response time. So with the help of these three formulas, we can find out turnaround time, waiting time and response time. So what is turnaround time of process P1? That is CT minus AT. What is CT? 12. 12 minus AT means 0. 12 minus 0, that is 12. Next is 11 minus 1, that is 10. 6 minus 2, 4. 9 minus 4, 5. So this is turnaround time of this algorithm, this processes. Okay. Now next is 12, 10, 4, 5. Next is waiting time. What is the formula of waiting time? Waiting time means what? Turnaround time minus burst time. So what is the turnaround time of process P1? That is 12, and burst time means what? 5. Original burst time, that is 5, 4, 2 and 1. So turnaround time minus BT any burst time, 12 minus 5, that is 7. 6, 2, 4. 12 minus 5, that is 7. 10 minus 4, that is 6. 4 minus 2, that is 2, and 5 minus 1, that is 4. So, these are waiting time of processes P1, P2, P3 and P4. Now, next is response time. What is response time? When CPU got, when any process got the CPU very first time, that is like P1, when P1 got the CPU, P1 at the time 0. At the time of 0, P1 got the running queue or CPU. So, 0 minus arrival time 0. That is 0 minus 0, 0. Response time of P1 is 0. Now, in case of P2, when we got P2, P2 got at 2 unit of time. 2 unit of time CPU. So, 2 minus 1, that is 1. Likewise, 2 and 4. How we consider 2 and 4? When CPU got, whenever P3, when P3 got the CPU, that is, when process P3 got the CPU, that is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And process P4, whenever initially got the CPU, that is 8. 8 minus 4, that is 4. So, this is the complete Gantt chart or scheduling algorithms of round robin. There is one more thing, like context switching. What is context switching? With the help of time quantum, there is a limitation of some time quantum. So, there is one ready queue and running queue. Ready queue means what? Secondary storage, and running queue means main memory. So, whenever any process got the CPU, ready queue to running queue, there is some time limit of 2 unit of second. And after that, completion of that 2 unit of time, process will go back to the ready queue, and this switching is called as a context switching, which is also very useful and important part of CPU scheduling algorithms. With the help of context switching, we can give priority or time quantum for each and every process. So, this is most important part of CPU scheduling algorithm. Now, this is all for today. Thank you so much.